So this video might age like, well, an old avocado, because I'm going to cover a topic that is going to happen in about 12 hours from now. So if you don't watch this before then, it probably won't make a lot of sense. But I'm going to make it short and sweet and get to the point. And that is, we are getting a new Nintendo Direct. I've seen a bunch of these Nintendo YouTubers just go crazy about the fact that we don't know what's coming out. We haven't had any games announced and blah, blah, blah. We need a Nintendo Direct. And listen, I want to say that the rumors, the speculations, they're off the charts right now, as a Nintendo Direct has yes been announced. But for me, I have an issue with some of that, and it really starts from a point of, we just got Tears of the Kingdom. And I think objectively, we have to say that that game rates at like an amazing. Like, it's better than great. It's arguably the best Nintendo Switch release ever. That's how high it is. It's Elden Ring status. And honestly, you can look back at other games. You can look back at like even God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, basically any game that's come out since 2022, and I can guarantee that Tears of the Kingdom at least holds a candle to being better than it or on the same bar. So why is it like a month ago we get the greatest Nintendo Switch game released and people on the Nintendo party already going crazy like there isn't a new Nintendo Switch game coming out? Like, no other group does this. With Sony, they can ride Spider-Man 2 for like a year, right? Like, we got from Sony, we got God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and that was it. Nobody complained. None of the Sony fanboys are like, what is Sony gonna do? What's Sony gonna release? Xbox is even worse. They had, a racing game and a really bad Halo, and that was pretty much it. And the Microsoft guys weren't going crazy about when they're gonna release the new thing or what's coming next. And yes, we are probably gonna get Starfield soon, and that game might be amazing. I don't know. I hope so. I really do. But my point is, after Starfield comes out, guess what is not gonna happen? Microsoft fanboys are not gonna be going crazy wondering what the new Microsoft game is. They're just going to be happy with it. And if I'm honest, this is one thing about the Nintendo community that I just can't stand. That is the fact that they will ride a game's launch for months. They'll do videos every day talking about new information they found on it, how excited they are for this new game to release. Then once it actually comes out, it's just dead. They don't talk about it anymore. It's gone. All over. The game's, been released and that's it. Now we gotta get everyone hyped for the next game that's coming out in like 3 or 4 months. It's like, don't you appreciate the games that are already released? The games that you already have? Now, I get it. Like, yes, maybe you shouldn't be still, hyping up Mario Odyssey. Fair enough. But we're literally talking about, a month since the greatest Nintendo Switch game has been released, and you're already complaining. And by the way, this complaining has not been just recently. It's been for, the last month we've heard stirring of people, when's the new Nintendo Direct? When are they gonna announce new games? Really? Really? There's so many games already that are being announced. Just because they're not first-party games does not mean that the games are not great. In fact, let's be real. The best Nintendo Switch games out there, let's just say top 10, and I don't mean from sales standpoint. I just mean from people playing them. They're actual reviews. You might have a couple that are first-party Nintendo games, but not most of them. Most of them are going to be like Square or, Platinum, somebody like that. An outside company, a third party. Like every other system that's out there. But here's my main concern with the Nintendo Direct, and that is right now on Twitter and everywhere else, everybody's hyping this up. Oh, it's going to be great. They're releasing a 2D Mario. There's going to be a Chrono Cross HD 2D release. There's going to be a Donkey Kong Country that does sexual favors for you. Okay, maybe not the Donkey Kong Country thing, but my point is, people are hyping it up, and then when they don't do that, they immediately say this is a failure. If this Direct really focuses on Pikmin 4, let's say Fae Farm, and, Mortal Kombat, and some Atlas games, I would say, we kind of expected that. That is what Nintendo's already been pushing. They haven't said they're going to announce a 2D Mario. There's not even been talks about it. Just had some leakers online, and I use leaker very, very generous. We've just had some people who might make up shit online saying that this is what's going to happen. But we don't know. And you're already hyping yourself up to think this is the greatest event that's ever going to happen. And then when it's not, you get pissed and you hate Nintendo. And, Nintendo failed and blah, blah, blah. And if you don't believe me on that, think about one of the last Directs that we had. They actually shadow dropped Metroid Prime, and people were upset because they didn't release a Mario game that they thought would coincide with the Mario movie releasing. They couldn't appreciate this amazing, awesome game that I think low-key would have gotten most other companies excited, and most people excited, because this game looked awesome, it's beautiful, it's incredibly fun. But yeah, no, that direct, I should say, was a failure because it didn't have a game that they expected or some leaker said would happen. But it was never even in the works. Like, this was never something that they said would happen. And I guess ultimately my whole point is the two things that kind of irritate me about the Nintendo community as a whole, and I don't even mean like gamers, I mean more of the creator side of it, is the hurry up and wait mentality, which I can't stand. And, you know, if you're not sure what that is, that essentially means that people who are only anticipating games before they're released, and then once they're released, they don't care about them. It drives me insane, that aspect. And I'm not just talking about Tears of the Kingdom, I'm talking about like every game that gets announced and then released. The build-up is massive. It's like we see all of these people trying to sell us stuff and, oh, spend your money on this game, it's gonna be amazing. And then once it releases, they don't even talk about it. Oh, let's move on to something else. But the other aspect that I just don't like is this whole idea that if it's not a first-party game, the game sucks. Or even in the, example I was using before, Metroid was essentially a first-party game. It is a first-party game, but because it wasn't Mario, it wasn't the game that we thought it would be, we're not even going to appreciate how awesome Metroid Prime was. And that whole aspect is just... it's insane. And I think that, especially with the content creators, they don't talk about the indie games. They don't talk about any of the other third-party games, but let's be real. Most of those are the games that people really love. Yes, we got the Normans who buy Mario Kart and Minecraft and all of those games, which are great. They're fantastic. But the gamers that keep Nintendo relevant are the gamers who are playing indie games and third-party games, especially indie games, which never get talked about or rarely get talked about by Nintendo. Or a lot of these content creators who kind of, listen, I like a lot of them, but they kind of just go after clout. And I admit that's probably why they are where they're at. That's probably why they have such a huge group following them, and they make a lot of money off YouTube. And I'm never gonna hate on someone earning, but let's be real. A lot of the reasons why these directs get overhyped is because of these YouTubers, these content creators who come up with like this fake prophecy of different games that are gonna be released, and then they don't release, and then people just completely hate on the direct or they hate on the announcements, but at the end of the day, these things were never promised to us. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on this whole thing. And again, I want to say, a 2D Mario could be released tomorrow. I don't know. A lot of stuff could be released tomorrow. I'm just going to be excited to watch it and check it out. And I hope the rest of you guys are too. Anyway, guys, I love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.